Okay, let's do the introduction. Um, Hello, my name is Anthony Salter, and I love Ultima. And if you're here, you probably do too. Um, Ultima 7 is widely considered to be the best Ultima for many, many reasons. And so I have taken it upon myself to try to update the game, although, oh, that sounds so arrogant. Oh, I'm sorry. But just try to create a replacement engine for it that helps people understand why the game is so amazing and kind of gets around some of the flaws that it had simply because it was so ahead of its time. Crazy ahead of its time. Way too far ahead of its time. Should not have come out in 1992. Should have come out in 1994 after software 3D had, really started to take off. But, you know, it is what it is. So I've got a little demonstration that I like to do to show people exactly how Ultima is different from other RPGs, especially RPGs at the time. I should have a save game here for this. This is Exalt. Now, if you're not familiar with Exalt, this is a replacement engine for Ultima 7. And you might be thinking, Anthony, what? Why are you making a replacement engine for Ultima 7 when one already exists? Well, Exalt's job, its vision, was to replicate the original game as closely as possible. Um, and as a result, oh no, where are my save games? Here we go. Demonstration, here we go. Okay, this Exalt is amazing, but its job was to replicate the original game as closely as possible and just make it playable on modern systems and maybe fix a few bugs, add a few quality of life features. That's it. Um, Man, I hope you guys can hear me because I'm not getting any feedback in the chat room about my setup. But I'm just gonna keep plugging. Um, so you can see from the original game. Ah, yes, I'm audible and someone's watching. Thank you. Great. You can see from the original game the frame rate is really low. The movement looks clunky. Um, the world is huge, but the view is very zoomed in. Um, but we love this game partially because of its storyline, partially because of its characters, but mostly because of how coherent it was. There is a word, and I love this word. It's one of my favorite words. It's verisimilitude. What does verisimilitude mean? It means cohering and presenting something unified that feels real. And I'm going to show you exactly how real Ultima 7 is. This is Gay. She's the tailor. She makes clothes in Britain, and you can see that she's walking over and doing various things. She's going to pick some cotton from this bale. She's going to walk over here to the loom and uh, spin it into the spinning wheel and spin it into thread, which she just picked up. Now she's going to come over here to the loom and turn that thread into cloth. Which is taking longer than I remember it taking. Okay, there she goes. Now she's going to come over here and cut it up and turn it into clothing. Now, in any other game, especially a modern game, this would simply be a series of animations. That is not what is happening here. Because anything an NPC can do, almost anything, you can also do. This is my character, the avatar. I'm going to double click on this cotton bale, take some cotton, click on the spinning wheel. Okay, gotta wait till she stands up there. Okay. I will walk over here, spin my own thing of thread. It's right here. I can double click on it, put it on the loom, and make cloth myself. Now, because I'm not a tailor, I can't actually make clothes out of the cloth. I can cut them up and turn them into bandages. But this was the level of detail. This was the level of realism that this game had. It brought us into this world in a way that we hadn't seen before. Um, and I've never ever seen a game since, except maybe Dwarf Fortress, that did the same thing. This game deserves to be known, this game deserves to be loved, and this game deserves to be played in the modern age. And I am trying to help make that possible. Um, and I'm going to do it by creating a replacement engine that changes the game to something that modern audiences, oh, I hate that phrase, but modern audiences would relate to more easily. And here's what I'm doing so far. Yes, I want to quit. All right. This is Ultima 7 Revisited. The first thing you'll notice is that it's a fully 3D world now. And you might think, how do you turn a 3D world, a 2D top-down world, like Ultima 7, into a 3D world? And the answer is, Ultima 7 was always a 3D game. It was a 3D game from the beginning. It simply did not have the technology necessary to present its world in 3 dimensions. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to fix. It's a beautiful, as you can see, it's just an absolutely gorgeous world. I've got a whole bunch of things here that still aren't rendering correctly, but you know, look at it. It's so cute, simultaneously cute and realistic, and I can't describe it. I've never seen another game like it, except maybe the later Ultimas. But if you ask any Ultima fan, you might get a response about that is less than. Oh, look at my mouse cursor. I was messing with the scale of stuff earlier, which is one of the reasons why the mini map's not working. And my mouse cursor is also teeny tiny. I bet you can barely see it on the stream. Let's see if we can fix that. Main state. Draw. Mouse cursor, mouse cursor, mouse cursor. Let's see. That should do it. Hopefully it'll still be accurate. We'll find out. We'll find out together. Here we go. All right. Okay, that's not going to work. That is just not going to work. You can see it's moving really, really fast, and that's because the GUI scale is 640 by 360. That's the scale of the user interface. Whereas, of course, the render scale is 1920 by 1080. So it's moving basically 3 pixels every time I move it 1. So let's not do that. Instead, we are going to scale it up. Oh. let's see. Let's see if I remember how to do this without looking at the cheat sheet. G cursor dot. What are you doing here? Can you help me or not, IntelliSense? Okay. Guess I am looking at the cheat sheet. No, don't do that. Do I know who this person is? Yes, that's LeVar Burton. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about what library I'm using to make this game, and that is, oh, let's start the music. Oh, I'm gonna play something I love. Love. If I can find it. I'm sure this is just incredibly compelling viewing right now. Front mission. File. Okay, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. By cheating. Anyone who can tell me what music this is gets a point of some kind. Okay, so the library I'm using to build this is Raylib. And converting the project from my own engine to Raylib took a long time, but it was really worth it. I've gotten a lot of stuff for free that I would have had to oh, there we go. That I would have had to write myself, which would have slowed the project down. Okay, you're still killing me. Why is that wrong? Oh, it wants floats. Ints are not precise enough. It must have floats. Okay, vector to position, rotation, 0, scale, G, draw scale, color, white. Let's see if that fixes it. Looks like it might have. Yes, there we go. My mini-map is still broke. Okay. That's okay, we'll zoom around if we have to. Alright, so my goal here, again, is to replicate the original game as closely as possible. And one of the resources that I'm using to do that, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here, in case you guys haven't figured that out yet. Uh, yeah, I'm doing something that might be considered interesting and cool, but it's also you know, just the next step in something a lot of other people have done. So let's introduce you to the Ultima 7 map. This is an entire map of the world where you can easily scroll in. It's ripped from the original game graphics, so when you scroll in, you see exactly what you would see if you were playing the game here. Um, and you have perfect visibility and such stuff like that. But this allows me to be incredibly precise with how I am placing and replicating the graphics. And let's talk about the graphics. Um, excuse me. Let's talk about the graphics. I have a Discord server. I'm gonna go ahead and link it here, I guess. I think it's also in the links in the stream. But I have attracted somehow some of the most incredible modders and developers that I have ever seen. They love Ultima 7 just as much as I do, and they are willing to put in their time and effort to try to get this as good as it possibly can be. Um, and let me show you exactly what they're doing. Okay, look at this table. Look at it. Look at it. This is a 3D model of a table that was originally just a 2D sprite. The original sprite looked like this. This part right here. That is the original sprite. Now, when I was uh, initially starting the project, wow, that's huge. What the heck? Um, I did something that I thought was terribly, terribly clever. I took the original texture, split it up into 3 parts, and then wrapped that around a cube. Let's scale this down for a bit, just so I can put it back on the screen. Let's get this down to 111, 2.4, 2.4, 2.5. Okay, now that doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. And I thought I was so clever for coming up with that. And then, you know, I started my Discord and people started filtering in. And then an artist named Urant started giving me, okay, the first, there was an artist named Donko. I mean, it's not like he died or anything. He's still here and an artist. But he submitted. Am I looking at this right? Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry, we're going to spend a lot of time in Intrinsic because this is sort of my test area. It's still not right. You'd think I know? Okay, here we go. Look at this forge. This forge looks exactly like the one from the original game. And how do I know that? There it is, right there. This is how it looked in the original game, but of course, that's a 2D sprite. An artist named Donko. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading chat. Oh, this makes me also... Nightmare 1989, that is correct. Someone else started this and then sadly abandoned it. I actually have the source code and all the models that he was using. Um, and it just makes me so happy that I've been able to continue on with this. Okay, he submitted this forge, which is a 3D model that looks exactly like the original 2D sprite. Exactly like it. And then that's kind of sort of opened the floodgates and another artist named Urant. Um, oh, started coming up with these tables. Okay, well now it's way too small because I shrunk it down. 2.4, 2.4, 2.5, I think it was. Da, 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 da. I shall tell you guys what the soundtrack is here in a minute if nobody can guess it. But again, it looks just like the original table. He also did this table, which looks just like the original table. I can't express how grateful I am to the people in my... Hey, it's your aunt! Yes! I can't express how grateful I am to the people in my Discord for helping me out like this. Let's see, some other stuff that people did. Your aunt also did these pews. I think that was your aunt. A, an artist called Pixel Blues did these tables, did some of these replacement objects, because you can see this one has not been replaced yet, and this one hasn't been replaced yet. So when I circle around, A, they don't stand up, they don't look like they're standing up, and B, they shift around on the table like they're not supposed to. But I'm very confident that I'll eventually be able to get a replacement for every object in the game that needs it. Not all of them need it. Like these trees, I want these to stay billboards. Because this is the original graphic of the tree that I've just stood up and put straight into the game, and I love it. I don't want to change this. When I come down here to the forest, oh, I gotta fix that minimap. To the forest, these are all billboards, which means that they're just sprites that always point straight towards the camera, like the monsters in Doom. And I think it looks great, and oh, that obviously doesn't look great, but I think the trees look great, and I think that they keep that Ultima vibe, like this. So, again, I'm just so grateful that I've been able to do this, and grateful to all the people in my Discord who have helped me. I most recently got all the little people in, standing where they stand when the game first starts. Here's YOLO and Peter about to commiserate with each other about the horrible thing that's happened inside. Here's the Avatar ready to pop out of the red gate. Here's Finnegan ready to come over and ask YOLO, who is this stranger? Here's Clog and his wife. Less said about them, the better. Up here. Oh. I need to fix the mini-map jump. I don't know why it's not working. Anywho. But they're all just waiting for the play to begin. They're all waiting for the show to begin. And I can't wait to start putting in the gameplay and letting them move around and start living their lives here. Let's see, what else? Oh, right. This isn't in the actual game yet. Oh, the water wheel. Who did the water wheel? Here's the passion play. We're gonna run up here past the swamp to pause. Should be over here. Poop. Okay, well, I guess you guys are gonna see how I replace broken meshes with fixed ones. Alright, I must select this because that's the water wheel, even though you can't tell what it is right now. We're going to change the mesh. We have all of these meshes that we can go through. There we go. Water wheel.obj. Ah, okay. It's too small and it's not rotated the right way, but we can fix all of that. All right, we're going to tweak the rotation to 90. I like that. And now let's see. It needs to be at least twice as big as it is. That's looking pretty not bad. Let's check it against the original map. There it is. Okay. It needs to be further out of the ground. So we're going to tweak the Y position to bring it up. Ceiling 1.5. And now let's check that against the original. That looks pretty not bad. Ugh, these... This is supposed to be the axle that the water wheel runs around. It is just completely broken. We'll get it fixed. All right, let's see. Oh, no, this right here is where the center of the water wheel is supposed to be. So let's move it up. Whoops. Continue to move it up. And then move it on the Z one. Oh, that looks pretty close. No, it still needs to come up a bit. Most of the wheel is out of the water. You know, that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, that's looking pretty choice. All right, here's the other part of the water wheel. But because we already have a mesh that's drawing the entire water wheel, we just don't need to draw this. So we're just going to set the draw to nothing. There we go. Water wheel. Who made this water wheel? 1 second. I need to look that up on my Discord. I swear. It's in streamer mode, so I can't see his name. Okay, I'm sorry. Everyone, let me see his name without stopping the stream. Well, it starts with an R. He's contributed both code and art to the game. He's amazing. I'll shout him out next time. Ugh, sorry, dude. I'm sorry. All right. Now, in case I didn't explain this, this is the shape editor that I've come up with to help me fix shapes in the game. Its ability to tweak things really allows me to, you know, fix up little issues. If you look at this wall, you can see that you can actually see through the wall. And that is because A, it has no sides, and B, there's a little gap here in both the right and the top texture. And I can just tweak the height and the Y offset. No, I need less height. There we go. And the top texture. Oh, it's not updating. I'll have to fix that. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, now to fix this, we can simply assign the top texture to the front and the back. Front and back, top. There. Now it's a solid object. Let's go ahead and save that. And now, what the heck? Oh, I fixed this one. I still need to, there's a lot of duplicated or near duplicated objects in the game. So this one's okay, but this one, which is its mirror, is not. But that's how I fix objects using the shape editor. Let's see. Okay, I gotta get this mini map fixed. So yes, we're gonna do live coding here for a minute. I actually hate live coding. I don't like people watching me while I'm coding. It makes me feel self-conscious. Let's see. I think that code is in the camera. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to hard code that. Excuse me. Oh, grief. I need a burp button. Resolrem! Thank you! Resolrem did the water wheel. Da, 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 da. Okay, look! Oh my god, it almost works now. Okay, now I can jump around. Jump around. Jump up, and get down. Can I get to Britannia Castle? Oh, I'm up near, oof. I forgot all about this. Did anybody else encounter this? Oh, the filthy lock. Every time I come up here, I have to pick it all up. I can't help it. Just can't leave it like that. Ah, but this was exactly what I was looking for. Look at this table setting. Oh, it's gorgeous. And again, you know, I didn't do any of this. All I'm doing is transmitting it to everybody. I'm like Julia Child. Julia Child didn't invent French cooking. She just loved it and wanted more Americans to eat it. So, you know, she started a TV show and such and wrote one of the greatest cookbooks ever. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to transmit this, my love of this, to everybody. Yeah, Cove became a trash bin. All right, let's see. What else? Oh, there was something else. There was something else. Anthony, for having bugged people about watching your stream for so long, you sure as heck aren't very organized tonight. Now, are you? Okay. Let me download this real quick. Bum, 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 Um, no, I don't want to update. Okay. Oh, look at this. Look at it. Look at it. I did not do this animated water. I haven't had the time. And the animated flags are not working right. But the point is that the water is working right. And who was that? Again, this is somebody on my Discord. ViridianGames, I think. ViridianGames, that's right. He just came in and said, "I'm just going to do this," and animated the water. And it's not perfect. I mean, you can see that some of the tiles need to um, be offset as they animate. But it's so much better than me. Oh, and those fountains. Oh, those poor fountains. They look so terrible. But it's just so much. And the swamps are burbling. Look at the swamps burbling. Oh, I love it so much. But it's just such a great start, and it's something that I didn't have to do from scratch. He's going to give me a pull request. I'm going to integrate it into the game. And, you know, I can improve it, or he can improve it, or we'll just keep going forward and keep making it better. All right, I think that's everything I have to demonstrate. Now I want to talk about texture mapping. And before y'all tune out, this isn't going to be a technical kind of thing. Because the greatest texture mapping technology in the world is, of course, the human mind. And let's see, I had some stuff open over here that I wanted to demonstrate. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to start with... I'm going to stop the music here for a second. If I can remember what tab that's on. There we go. Okay. First, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII is very contentious. People love it or hate it. I initially hated it, and now I love it. It's just how it is. But it did something absolutely brilliant with its character introductions. And let me show you. The game is about to introduce a character named Quistis Trepe. She is an instructor at the school that you're going to. She's young. This is her first year as an instructor. You are her problem student. You got into a forbidden battle with another student, ended up in the hospital, and this is her coming in to check on you. Now, that's amazing. Now, this is what she looks like in the actual game. This is Quistis Trepe. The thing is, when you see this, you will not see this as you play the game. You will see the way she looked in the video. You will mentally map that image of her onto these pixels. And they do that for every major character in the game, so that you're constantly, being given um, something to map onto the, let's face it, not very detailed models that they were stuck with. So that's just a great example of the imagination being the greatest texture mapper. And now I'm gonna read you something. And this is the sort of thing that you're in for if you decide you want to come back to these streams. Um, a long time ago, there was a man named Shay Addams who has sadly passed. He wrote a book called The Official Book of Ultima. That book changed my life. I went into a Walden Books in what, 88, 89, something like that. And I saw that book on the shelf, and the realization that there were enough people in the world who loved Ultima that somebody could write a book about it and sell it, it just opened my mind up to so many possibilities. And then inside the book, he started talking about the making of Ultima 6 and how it was written in the C language. So I started learning C. He talked about how Origin Systems was located in Austin. I started planning a move to Austin because I wanted to work for Origin Systems. That book changed my life. And now I'm going to read an excerpt from it. This is Shay Addams. The first time I played Ultima, I can recall that night as vividly as I remember where I was and what I was doing the moment I heard John F. Kennedy had been assassinated. And that's probably true for many avid adventurers who had ventured into Richard Garriott's fantasy worlds. My first destination was Ultima III's Sosaria, which I visited by way of a Commodore 64 in Greenwich Village in 1984. As I explored Sosaria and Ambrosia long into the night, I lost all track of time and space, until I finally tore my eyes from the screen, looked over my shoulder, and saw the sun rising over the apartments on the far side of the courtyard. I had played Ultima from dusk till dawn. When I finally collapsed in bed, it felt as if I were a wandering paladin, falling asleep on a straw-filled mattress in a convenient hut in the wilderness. And when I awoke the next morning, rambled into the kitchen and made some toast, I instinctively reached for my silver-pommeled dagger to spread some butter on it, so deeply had I been immersed in the myth and magic of Richard Garriott's epic fantasy. Now, nearly 6 years after playing my first Ultima, I find myself peering into the world of Ultima on another computer, this time from a house in the Arizona desert. Lingering over the keys as I wrap up the final pages about the lands of Lord British and the legends and truth behind them, I turn and watch that same yellow orb rising over the peaks of the Rincons. Then I head downstairs to fall asleep upon my straw-filled mattress in a hut in the hills of Britannia. Shay Addams, June 1992. Now, you might wonder, what was this amazing game that he was playing? What did it look like? If it was so incredibly immersive, it must have been amazing. It must have been like an Unreal Engine 5 thingy or something. No, it looked like this, he said, unable to find the tab he was looking at. It looked like this. This was Ultima 3. But this was more than sufficient to excite the imagination of millions of people, to get them to project, you know, their fantasy onto this world. And I just appreciate it so much. Well, that's all I really had to talk about. Um, oh, Gabe. If I never hear that question again, it'll be too soon. Anywho, that's all I really had to talk about. Um, wow, it hasn't even been an hour. Um, I didn't expect it to go by so quickly. I guess I could talk about, some other things I've done in the past, or if anyone in the chat has any questions, anyone wants to, um, okay. A long time ago, I talked to a guy named Mike McShaffrey, um, and he wrote a book. He was a programmer at Origin. He actually worked on Ultima 7, um, and he wrote a book about game development. And in it, he had what were called Tales from the Pixel Mines, um, which were interesting stories about game development. And I just love that name, Tales from the Pixel Mines, because that's what I do every day. I go and slave in the pixel mines to make video games. Video games I can't talk about. Um, the game I make, the game I'm working on for my day job, I'm actually also really really proud of. I cannot tell you what it is, but if you look at my history on Moby Games, you can probably figure it out. They just announced the the most recent edition. It's a franchise game. Despite that, I'm really proud of the work I'm doing on it. Um, we've taken a moribund franchise and revitalized it. The last entry in the series was an 86 got an 86 on Metacritic, and for a couple of days sold better than Hogwarts Legacy. Um, it may have something to do with the WWE, maybe. Anyway, uh, but I'm gonna end by telling you a tale from the Pixel Mines. One of my tales from the Pixel Mines. This is the story of how I ended up inadvertently working for the Swedish Mafia. A long time ago, I was working at a company called Multimedia Games, and oh, let's put the music back on. Now that I'm done, now that I'm done being serious, put the music back on. There we go. Okay, so Swedish Mafia. Um, a long time ago, I was working at a company called Multimedia Games. We made video bingo games for casinos. It was my first game development job, and it was technically game development, but it wasn't what I was really looking for. So I started looking around for something else. I took some interviews, did terribly, and I finally decided that I was just going to do the indie game thing. I was just going to make my own games at night, you know, and let that be it. Until um, very soon after my decision to do that, that was when I came up with the ViridianGames name. That is the name of my, one-man studio that's doing all of this stuff. I was in an IRC channel, and someone came in and said, "Are there any programmers from Austin in here?" And I went, "I'm a programmer in Austin." And he begged me to apply at his company. So I did, and it was a company called, uh, well, it was Warhog Studios, but they had been forced to rebrand to Gizmondo Studios because they were making a game for the Gizmondo. Now, if you don't know what a Gizmondo is, I can fix that. No, I didn't mean Gizmodo. This is a Gizmondo. It was a Windows CE based combination handheld gaming device, phone, and media player. It was way ahead of its time and simultaneously backwards. Uh, the the layout is good. It's much better. It was much better than the N-Gage. You could actually play games on it. The games were actually pretty good. I should know. We made a couple. Um, but what we did not know was that the entire Gizmondo company was a front for the Swedish Mafia. I am not kidding. So for a while there, I was inadvertently working for the Swedish Mafia. It was just supposed to be a pump and dump kind of thing. Only the dump never actually happened. They tried to get bought several times, um, couldn't do it, went out of business, and the two guys whose names I cannot remember, the two European guys who were in charge of the whole thing. Apparently, I heard a story where one of them was captured by the Swedish Mafia, who they had borrowed a lot of money from, and ended up with a shotgun down his pants. Um, Fortunately, I was on the other side of the world from that. We had no idea what was going on. The Gizmondo was never meant to succeed, and so our little studio was doomed from the start. We had no idea because it was just a scam, the whole thing. But, I can say that I inadvertently worked for the Swedish Mafia as a game developer. Uh, okay. I know it's a short stream. I know. Just an hour. It's my first stream. I'll do better next week. I promise. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Um, there is one thing that I want to talk about. I have started a Patreon. People have been bothering me to do it. Every time I post a new video on YouTube about the game, someone posts a comment that says, "How can I fund this? You don't have a Patreon." Um, so I'm starting a Patreon. The link is in the stream description. Um, if you are crazy enough to actually decide to give me money, what I will do with it is use it to buy new hardware. Um, People have been asking for a Mac build of Ultima 7 Revisited. I can't provide one because I don't have a Mac. So if I get money from my Patreon for this, that's what I'll be doing. I'll buy a Mac and maybe a couple other things. I'd like to see if I could build this for the Raspberry Pi 5. Um, but another thing I want to do is also start putting bounties on in-game models. I love what my Discord users are doing, but I want to be able to compensate them even in some small way for what they're doing. You know, exposure just you can't pay rent with exposure, and it's not like I'm going to be paying them a lot for each model, but if someone takes 3 hours out of their day to grab a sprite, break it down, wrap it around something, make it look good, give it back to me, I want to be able to give them at least lunch or something like that. So, oh, I worked on Crusader No Remorse. Yes, I did. I was a tester on the PlayStation and Sega Saturn versions of Crusader No Remorse. Oh man, that was a long time ago. Um, and frankly, I think those versions are better because they gave up the tank controls. I really wish. Oh, that's something else I could talk about. If I could, I would go. I would make a, maybe not make a replacement engine, but I would tweak, the controls of Crusader so that it, it didn't use tank controls. Because the PlayStation and Saturn versions control much better than the original PC version because it uses, hard directional controls. Um, Also, I've got a couple of other ideas for. I was just wrapping up and now I'm talking again. Um, thank you, Chelnov. Thank you. It's looking amazing because the original game was amazing. It's not looking amazing because I'm amazing. It's looking amazing because the original game is amazing, and everybody on my Discord is amazing. That's why. Oh yeah, yeah, man, it was terrible. And the other thing is the PC version doesn't scroll. It used the Ultima 8 engine, but it doesn't scroll. Instead, it goes screen to screen to screen to screen. And that's very confusing, and it gets you shot a lot. Um, Again, if I could make a replacement engine for Crusader, that's one of the things I would fix. Uh, Once Ultima 7 Revisited is at a point where I'm happy with it, some other projects that I might want to do. Um, there is a um, classic RPG called Demon's Winter. Let me bring up the GOG page for that. This is sort of a proto goal box game because it was made by SSI. Open the page, please. There we go. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this unreadable font. Look at this black text on a red background. Look at these graphics. They're terrible. And it would be so easy to fix. I just, make a replacement engine for this that updates the tiles, fixes the font, fixes the weird black on red text. Look at those terrain tiles. They're awful. But the game is so good. It's so much fun because it has tactical combat. See, right here. Use the arrow keys to cast your spell. It's again, it's like a proto gold box game. It's made by SSI, same company. A lot of the same people worked on it. Let's see. Is that everything? Because there are some nice graphics in the game. Um, and if I could, I'd, fix that up. Another project that I would like to do is, um, oh, what's the name of that game? Warlords. Warlords shoot. No, not Stronghold Warlords. There we go. These games are amazing, but Warlords 2 has a problem. There it is right there. Look at all this orange. This orange is not supposed to be here. This orange is because there was an incorrect entry in the palette file for the sprites, for the terrain sprites. If I could fix that, then I would, because I love Warlords. Look at this. Yeah, I did a tweet or an X or whatever it's called now. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I need a mute button. About how if your game looks like this, if it's got a map here, a mini map here, and then interactivity here, I'm probably going to like it. And Warlords is a perfect example. And most of the game looks great. It's just that this terrain just looks terrible. Ugh, I just want to go back in and fiddle with all of these games and just make them just a little bit better. That's, what I'm doing with Ultima 7, and hopefully I could do some other games later in the future. Um, okay, I think that's it. I think that's the last thing. Um, Channel of 18, yes, that's it. That's it exactly. Oh my god, go away, OneDrive. I hate you ever so much. You can mute all notifications on your computer except the ones Windows itself gives you. Sooner I can go to Linux, the better. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna build a new computer soon, and when I do, I'm just gonna put Linux Mint on it from the beginning. And yes, I'll have to dual boot into Windows to make Windows builds, but I'll be running in Linux. Um, let's see. I think that was it. Next time I'm gonna do much better. I promise. I'll have a script and bullet points and all those things that real streamers have. And maybe we'll actually even play a game. Um, all right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I cannot thank the people who have helped me with this project enough. They're amazing. With their help, I might pull this off. And I hope that this project revitalizes the Ultima series, especially Ultima 7, and gets more younger players trying it out. I think that's it. Oh, the soundtrack was Front Mission. Front Mission on the Super Nintendo. Love that game. Love that series. Love this soundtrack. Oh, MoFH says, thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Come back next week. It'll be better, I promise. All right. Where's OBS? Love you all. Bye.